Alright, well, I know I'm a day late to this one, but I just got around to seeing the new movie from the DC animated lineup, Batman Assault on Arkham. Now, from the beginning, when this was first announced, I was pretty against it because I'm getting a little tired of seeing Batman movies from the DC animated lineup when there are so many other heroes that they could draw from. I mean, Warner Brothers has access to these characters, and they keep making movies about Batman, Superman, and or the Justice League. I guess presumably because a movie about Wonder Woman or Green Lantern wouldn't really sell as well. And also there was the fact that it was going to tie in with the popular Batman Arkham video games. You know, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Origins. So tying it into the video games wouldn't necessarily give the writers complete creative freedom. Finally, the writer, I heard, was going to be Heath Corson. Now, Heath Corson, of course, is the guy who wrote Justice League War, one of the only movies in the DC animated lineup that I did not like. In fact, I wouldn't say I hated it, because even the worst that DC Animation has to offer, or Warner Brothers Animation has to offer, is better than something that, I don't know, Michael Bay has to offer, or something like that. But it was probably the worst in the lineup. I just didn't really think that Heath Corson really knew how to write for these characters. I didn't think that he made them very likable. I hated the members of the Justice League in that movie. So after hearing he was going to write for the Batman characters, I was very trepidatious. However, much to my surprise, the movie's actually really good. And I'm still shocked at how much I liked this movie. It's not perfect, it's not really one of their best, but I don't even want to say considering how bad I thought it was going to be. No, I just want to say it's a really good time, and I actually think the title is a little bit false in its advertising, because this is not really a Batman movie. Yeah, it has Batman in it, and it takes place in the Batman Arkham games, but really, it's about the Suicide Squad, and I will explain that in a second. Well, like I said, it takes place between Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum. Amanda Waller of the U.S. government, she realizes that Edward Nygma, aka the Riddler, has stolen government secrets. I mean, he's hacked into their system because he's, the Riddler. He can do that. He's smart like that. And after a failed Black Ops operation, or Black Ops assassination, that was orchestrated by her. I mean, after she basically tries to kill him to kind of snuff him out before he can leak the information on the internet, the Riddler is captured by Batman, and Waller's forces are thwarted. Riddler is taken back to Arkham Asylum, so she commissions the Suicide Squad, which is basically a group of supercriminals that she implants with explosives, and these guys have to work together to break into Arkham Asylum and kill the Riddler before he actually can escape and or reveal any information. And if they go off course, then she will blow them up with these chips that she implants in the back of their necks. Okay. Now, at the same time, well, first of all, I have to mention the members: Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Black Spider, King Shark, Killer Frost, and KG Beast. Okay. They are tasked with breaking into the asylum and, yeah, like I said, killing the Riddler, while at the same time avoiding any confrontation with Batman and any of his rogues gallery like the Joker. However, considering Harley Quinn is involved, the Joker is eventually going to get involved, and soon all hell breaks loose. So what did I like about this movie? Well, for once, it's not really about Batman. Like I said, I think it's a little bit of false advertising, or I don't really want to say false advertising because it does give you partially what you ask for, the assault on Arkham. But the primary protagonist is not Batman. for all intents and purposes, the main character that we follow throughout the movie, the main character that we spend probably the most screen time with, is Deadshot, the character of Deadshot. Um, Really, this entire movie feels like a Suicide Squad movie. It is a Suicide Squad movie, but it feels like there is a separate Batman story going on just off screen. And what really makes this movie work is the fact that I'm not constantly saying, okay, I'm bored with these characters, go back to Batman. Um, because these characters and how they play off of each other, it is very entertaining. I mean, there is a lot of mean-spirited gallows humor in this movie, which is appropriate given the nature of these characters. I mean, Harley Quinn is nuts. Captain Boomerang is very cynical. Deadshot is very intense. He's kind of this rogue type character, while at the same time he really knows how to get things done. He knows how to finish the job. He's very concentrated. King Shark is basically Killer Croc. King Shark is not all that interesting. Neither is Black Spider, but Black Spider, he does kind of possess some of those qualities of Deadshot, but again, not as interesting. He's honestly kind of wooden, which actually which actually doesn't really give Giancarlo Esposito much to work with. And Killer Frost, I think, fares much better because she's also kind of nuts, but not as nuts as Harley. I mean, she's also kind of cynical like Captain Boomerang. So all these characters are very clearly defined, and like I said, they play off of each other pretty well. And once in a while, you'll get a quote unquote wild card thrown in there, like the Riddler, the Joker, or even Batman. So the characters, in my opinion, are written fairly well. They are very true to these characters. And speaking of these characters, the voice acting is very good also. I mean, we've come to expect that at this point. I mean, Kevin Conroy returns once again to the role of Batman. I've said many times before that Kevin Conroy is the perfect voice for Batman, and I will probably continue to say it many times in the future. One might, again, someone who is uninitiated in the world of DC might question, why isn't Batman the main character? Why are we focusing on these guys? But again, the main character that we do get, Deadshot, is voiced very well by Neil McDonough, who does a very good job. Now, I can't really speak for the continuity regarding the character of Deadshot, because while they do reference his previous affiliation with the Joker in Arkham Origins, I'm not really sure how this Deadshot eventually gets to the blank slate contract killer that we see in Arkham City. So I don't know, but I'll get to the connections to the games in a few minutes. Now Hynden Walsh plays Harley Quinn. Now this casting decision actually kind of perplexed me, because throughout the Arkham series, well, in Arkham Asylum, she was voiced by longtime Harley Quinn voice Arlene Sorkin, who the character was partially based off of. And Arlene Sorkin, I really wish would return to the role, but after she left, Tara Strong took over, and she did a pretty good impersonation. Hynden Walsh has voiced Harley Quinn before in The Batman, and I wasn't really a huge fan of her there, but for some reason, maybe it's just the more adult-oriented writing, but she does a better job here than she did in The Batman. I was actually kind of surprised at how good a job she did. Again, I was kind of wondering, why isn't Tara Strong doing this? But eventually I warmed up to her. Troy Baker again voices the Joker, continuing his work from Batman Arkham Origins, since Mark Hamill has stated that he's done with the character, at least if they don't make a movie adaptation of The Killing Joke. And Troy Baker, again, does a very good job. He definitely seems a bit closer to Mark Hamill here than he did in Arkham Origins. And maybe it's just because Arkham Origins, I was just so used to hearing Mark Hamill as the Joker that I was always aware, it's Troy Baker. But here, I was able to let go of that a little bit. It's kind of like hearing Hynden Walsh as Harley Quinn. Um, I really felt that he was able to make the character a little bit more his own this time around. So he's pretty good. And CCH Pounder, again, returning to the role of Amanda Waller. Now, again, this kind of raises an interesting issue of continuity because Amanda Waller was seen in a post-credits scene at the end of Arkham Origins, kind of recruiting Deadshot for presumably the Suicide Squad. So I don't really know why they chose to focus on this particular iteration of the Suicide Squad instead of the one involving Deathstroke. Especially considering that Deadshot in this movie has presumably been a part of the Suicide Squad before. Maybe they're saving that for another movie or another game. I don't know. But she does a very good job. Like Kevin Conroy, she really knows this character by now. She really knows how to play it. It feels very natural. And even some of the minor players, like Greg Ellis as Captain Boomerang, Giancarlo Esposito as Black Spider, John DiMaggio as King Shark, Jennifer Hale as Killer Frost, another returning voice actress, and Nolan North as the Penguin. I mean, they all do a pretty good job. This movie's cast, the voice acting is very accomplished in this movie, and as is the animation. The animation is well up to standards. It's very smooth. The fight scenes are thrilling. It never really resorts to shaky cam. I don't really know how you would resort to shaky cam in animation, but yeah, the fight scenes are very gritty. They are very close up, but not too close that you can't really see what's going on. They all feel very kinetic. They all feel very, very fluid. And also, I have to mention the art style and the designs, because, like I said, this takes place in the universe of the Arkham games, more so the Arkham Asylum and Arkham City rather than Arkham Origins, because, like I said, this takes place closer to Arkham Asylum than it does to Arkham Origins. So the Joker looks exactly the way he did in Arkham Asylum, minus a bit of the detail. Harley Quinn, she's got the pigtails, or she's got she's got the kind of dual ponytail thing that she has going on. Let's see. Deadshot is really the only one that looks radically different, but Batman looks the same as he did in the later Arkham games. He has the big muscular frame. He has the long ears. He even does the detective mode at one point during a fight with Harley Quinn. So. And that actually brings me to one of the, well, I'll get to that in a second, but even some of the background designs, I could appreciate the numerous nods to the games, or the numerous familiar environments. Like, in Arkham Asylum, you had the catacombs that you roam around in underground. They go to the catacombs at one point. There's a firefight with the members of the police and the Suicide Squad. So I was like, oh, hey, it's that place. And Arkham Island looks, like I said, very much the same as it did in Arkham Asylum. The villains themselves, like Poison Ivy, Bane, Scarecrow, Two-Face, all of whom have cameos, they look exactly the way they did in the Arkham games, again, minus some of the detail. But yeah, it is very faithful to its source material. And aside from that, that actually brings me to some of the nods that it makes to other Batman works, as it were, because there's this one, and some of these nods work, and really I can only think of one or two that really don't. One that I thought was a little weird, and this may be just because I don't really like what it's referencing. But at one point, Victor Zsasz has this one woman hostage, and Batman steps out in front of him. And he fires his bat claw at the wall behind Victor Zsasz, at the brick wall behind him, and Zsasz is like, missed, and Batman pulls the bat claw and hits Zsasz in the back of the head with the brick. And I said, did they just reference Batman Returns? I don't know why anyone would want to reference Batman Returns, but there you go. Let's see, what else? Oh, in when Batman is fighting members of Waller's hit squad, not the Suicide Squad, it's the hit squad that she sends at the beginning. He does the thing that you do in the games where he kind of flings his cape and it stuns the enemies. He does that, so I was like, oh well, nice little nod there. And one thing that was just a stinging, there was just a stinging strike against Batman and Robin was when Killer Frost said something about oh, it was when they discovered that Joker had a bomb somewhere in the city, and Killer Frost was like, Joker's got a bomb? That gives me chills. And Captain Boomerang is like, ice puns? Really? I said, oh wow. Which, you know, coming from Killer Frost, and given how offbeat she is, I think that made more sense than if someone like, I don't know, Black Spider did it. And yeah, like I said, this movie is written pretty well. The characters, I think, are much more realized and for lack of a better word, much more likable than they were in Justice League War, which actually is kind of it's kind of sad considering Justice League War was about heroes, and here it's about villains. Maybe it's just that Heath Corson wants to make these characters cynical and very narcissistic and filled with a lot of black comedy, some gallows humor thrown in there, some inappropriate jokes. And maybe that just didn't mesh as well with the Justice League. And like I said, Justice League War was very mean-spirited. I didn't really like the characters in that one. I like the characters here a lot more, and that actually makes me kind of sad that we see some of them get killed off, like King Shark, Killer Frost. I'm glad. I'm not all that happy that we see them go. But yeah, like I said, this was a refreshing change of pace in the world of DC animated movies. Like I said, it's not really about Batman, it's more about the Suicide Squad. I don't know what is making the Suicide Squad so popular in the world of DC movies and or TV shows of lately, but yeah, like there it went, because let's think about this. There was the one Arrow episode that focused on John Diggle being shanghaied into the Suicide Squad. There was the little nod at the end of Batman Arkham Origins where Amanda Waller approached Deathstroke with an offer to join the Suicide Squad, and now we have an entire movie that's billed as a Batman movie. It's titled like a Batman movie. It's even set in the world of the Arkham games, but it's focusing on the Suicide Squad. But with that said, it is a very accomplished heist movie. Like I said, I don't really know how many other ways I can say it. Really, all I can say is that I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Really good voice acting, a lot of dark humor that I liked and was fitting to the characters. A lot of welcome nods to the material that it came from, not just the games but other Batman works. Really good animation. And it's paced very well. I mean, it's and also it manages to hold just enough tension to work without necessarily becoming tired. I mean, they hold the tension of this heist and not being detected for just long enough before, like I said, all hell breaks loose. So yeah, Batman Assault on Arkham, surprisingly good.